Good evening, all. You can see the screen, right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
So, as you know, this is going to be the summary session for week 3. So, basically, in this session, we will discuss about quadratic functions or quadratic equations. Okay. So, how they look, what is the equation, what is the graph, and how can we compute the roots. These are the main topics. Okay. So, is there any session going on parallelly? Do you know about it?
I think session uh, eight. Wait a
No,
minute.
ma'am.
Eight.
No. Not any session is going on simultaneously right now.
Okay, so the number is so less. Shall I wait for some time, some 2-3 minutes, so that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we will start from 8:05. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
let us see for 2 more minutes. Let other join, then we will start.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt in graded assignment 2.
Graded assignment week 2.
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
Uh, can I read the question?
Yeah, sure.
A line L is such that its segment between the lines x minus y plus 2 equals to 0
Hmm.
and another line x plus y minus 1 equals to 0
Hmm.
is internally bisected at the point 1 comma 1.5.
Okay.
What is the
Okay,
equation of?
okay. Can you take the screenshot and post it in the chat box?
Ma'am, I have joined in phone actually.
Okay.
I'm not able to join in my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, how can I do?
Okay, you can post it from your chat too. I mean, phone too. So you can take a photo. You are seeing
Acha,
the
okay.
assignment from the laptop, right? So you can take a photo and post it in the chat box.
Okay, ma'am.
This session is helpful for making notes.
Yeah, you can make notes from this session. Did you share it, the question?
No, ma'am, just doing. Wait.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am, I have shared.
Mhm. Okay, so this is the question, right?
Yes.
So you have two given lines. Let us first draw the lines. So this will be xy minus 2 plus y by 2 equals 1, right? So if I draw the line, we will get this line minus 2, 2. And this line is x plus y equals 1. That means something like that. Right? So this is the picture of the lines. And what is the question? A line L is such that its like line segment between these two lines is internally bisected at the point 1, 1.5. So this is 1 and 1.5 means there something here. Then the point will be here, right? Is it fine? This is 2. This is 0, 2. This point is 1, 0. And this is 1, 1.5. Is it fine up to now? Is it clear? The picture up to now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And there is given that the new line is between these two lines and internally bisected at the point. That means the point is the midpoint of the line segment between these two lines. That means if you draw the line like that, okay, so this point is the midpoint. Okay.
Okay.
So you can take a general equation of the line. Okay. Then you can find the intersection point, and this is the midpoint. That means you can use the section formula and then try to solve the problem in this way. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can start our session. So it's basically about week 3 summary session. That means basically we will cover all about quadratic equations, right?
Ma'am, I have a doubt in some more question. Can I ask after the same?
Yeah. After the session, we can have.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Please go
So,
to very basic to advanced level, ma'am.
what?
Ma'am, please go to basic to advanced level.
Sure, sure. I will start from the beginning. So the starting point is how the general equation look like, general quadratic equation. So it's in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c, right? Uh, this is the general equation for a quadratic function, right? And why is it called quadratic? Because of the maximum power, right? Because of the maximum power is 2. So the equation is called quadratic equation, where these three constant a, B, and C, these three are constant, right? So we know that a quadratic equation typically look like a parabola. Parabola means this U shape, right? Either in upward direction or in downward direction, right? Also, we know that it will be in upward direction if A is greater than 0, and it will be in downward direction if A is less than 0, right? That is known by all of you, right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah. But why is it so? I mean, if A is greater than 0, why do we get a parabola in the upward direction? Do any one of you have any justification for that?
Because infinity upside.
Yeah, correct. That's what I wanted to listen.
And downside also infinity.
Yeah. So if A is greater than 0, so if I tend x to infinity, if A is greater than 0, we will get fx is tending to infinity. Also, if x tending to minus infinity, because of the square power, we will get x tending to positive infinity, right? If A is positive, right? That means both the end will be going towards the upward direction. So that for this reason, we get a parabola in the upward direction. And for similar result, if A is negative, then for both x tending to infinity and x tending to minus infinity, we get fx tending to minus infinity and fx tending to minus infinity. That means both the end will be towards the negative y-axis, negative y infinity, right? That means toward the downward direction. Okay, that's why if A is positive, we got a parabola in the upward direction, and if A is negative, then we get a parabola in the downward direction. Okay, clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So once we have a parabola, we know the midpoint of the parabola. This point or this point is called the vertex of the parabola, right? And we can see for a upward direction parabola, the vertex is the minimum point. There is now no maximum, right? Because the ends are going towards the infinity. So there is no defined maximum, but vertex is the minimum point. And what is the equation for vertex?
Maximum.
Minus b by 2a.
Yeah. When the equation is given by this, right? And if we have a down parabola in the downward direction,
Maximum vertex.
then vertex is the maxima. Okay. And in that case, our vertex is the minimum.
I'm making notes, please don't use short form.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Why?
making notes,
What?
ma'am. Please don't use short form
Okay.
like
Okay.
BXY.
Sure. So, okay, minima and maxima. Okay. And this line which passes through the vertex is called axis of symmetry, right? This line is called axis of symmetry. These two lines called axis of symmetry. So we can note that if we just consider the parabola is in a page, and if you flip the page with respect to that line, then they will be overlapped, right? That means the parabola is basically symmetric with respect to the dotted line, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We can observe that the parabola is symmetric with respect to the dotted line. So that is why the dotted line is called axis of symmetry. Okay. So up to now we have if the parabola is the if for the parabola, if A is greater than 0, then Vx equals to minus b by 2a is the minima, right? and if a is less than 0, then vx, that means the x coordinate of the vertex, equals to minus b by 2a is the maximum. Okay.
When vertex is open upward, the minimum value is a vertex.
Yeah. So when the parabola is in the upward direction, that means when a is greater than 0, the minimum value is the vertex, and for downward direction parabola, the maxima is the vertex. Okay. So it is clear up to now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So for parabola, we can have three type of cases. I mean, if I have a general quadratic equation, fx equals to a squared plus bx plus c, then we can have three different type of cases, right? First, the equation can have two different real root, right? First case can be second case is no real roots, and third case is same root or repeated root, right? Right. So we can have three different cases dependent on the discriminant. So what is the discriminant? Discriminant we can get by the like completing the square method, right? So first we will start from what is the root of a quadratic equation, right? So we know that root we can find equating the equation with 0, right? So to find root, typically what do? We equate the equation, equation with 0, then we find the value of x, right? That means we are basically equating our y-axis with 0. That means we are finding the x-intercept. So roots are nothing but, roots of a equation is nothing but the x-intercept. Okay. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So finding the root, we are equating y-axis with 0. That means root of a equation is nothing but the x-intercept. So what is the x-intercept? That means we
Ma'am,
will
please
collect.
don't escape the plotting the graph of quadratic equation, ma'am. Point.
Mm-hmm.
Don't escape the plotting the graph of quadratic function. How to plot the graph.
Okay. 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 So see, then we have roots is basically x-intercept. That means the points at which the parabola cuts the x-axis, right? So we can typically have three type of different pictures. Like first, we can get a parabola like that. We can get a parabola like that, and also we can get a parabola like that, right? So in the first case, we can see that there is no x-intercept. That means there is no real root, right? Here we have repeated root, two real root and they are same. Okay. And here we will get two distinct root. This is the first root and this is the second root. Okay.
I mean, second one, we have two same roots.
Yeah, two same root. And this is the root.
Where
Okay. This is the root
one
and
is
this will be
this?
repeating same time. Okay. So for example, we can see if we have a perfect square, that means sum x minus a whole square. f of x equals to, okay. This is also equation of a parabola, right? So if we equate it with 0, then we will get x equals to a and a, right? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So in that case, we will get two similar root, right? So here we will get this type of factor x minus a, x minus b. If we equate it with 0, then we will get x equals to a comma b. So this is our a and this is our b. That means two distinct real root, okay? And for example, if I take some x squared plus 1 equals to 0, then we can see that here the root will be x equals to plus minus iota, right? So both the roots are complex. That means no real roots, right? So we got three different type of example. First one was of no real root. Second one was of two similar or repeated real roots. And third one was of two distinct real root, okay? So the thing is, all this type we can classify via the discriminant. And what is discriminant? Discriminant is basically, so if we have a equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, then the discriminant is b square minus 4ac, right? This is called the discriminant. So for the discriminant, we get three different cases. And why is it so? Let us see. Okay. So we know a method, like to find the root, we know a method called completing the square method, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So in this case, typically we try to complete the square, right? So if we have x squared plus bx plus c, we can adjust the equation in such a way so that we can get a square, right? So we already have ax square. We can write this as root over ax whole square, right? Or we can take a as common. So we will get x square plus b by ax plus c by a equals 0, right? Where a is, we know that for the quadratic equation, a is not equals to 0. So we can do that, right? Now, if I want to complete the square, we can adjust this like that. So we can multiply it with 2, then we can divide it with 2, then b by a will be as it is, this, right? So we know that the formula is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So this is our b, right? That means we need b by 2a. So this is our extra term. That means we will again adjust this plus c by a, right? Is it clear up to now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So then we have x squared plus b by 2a comma x plus b by 2a. If I, square, right? So if I take just up to now, then just take this side, this in the opposite side. So we will get b by 2a square plus c by a.
No, ma'am. Minus.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, thank you. Minus c by a, right? So this is in a perfect square mode, right? So we can write it as x plus b by 2a whole square, right? And this will be uh,
4 square denominator
4 square, and here we will get b square minus 4ac,
Yeah.
right? Okay, now we can take the square and root in the opposite side, right? So we will get x plus b by 2a root over b square minus 4ac by 4a square, This will be equals to b square minus 4ac by 2a, right? In the next line, we can get x will be equals
Hello?
to minus.
Excuse me, ma'am.
प्लस माइनस स्क्वायर के बाद प्लस माइनस
Yeah.
रूट ओके
Ma'am, I am not understand one step, ma'am. Please,
Which step? Which step you didn't get?
ma'am. X plus
Ma'am, this is
b
proof,
upon
right?
2a square and b square minus 4 is upon 4 square. How it's come, ma'am?
Repeat once again.
B square minus 4ac upon 4a square. How it's come?
Okay, you just adjust this, na? So we will get b squared by 4a minus c 4a squared minus c by a, right? So we can adjust 4a here, then we will get 4a squared here. So we can then next line we can get this, right? Is it fine now?
Ma'am, this is the proof.
Yeah.
We don't have to remember, right?
Yeah, you don't have to remember it, but it's better to know the proof always, right? So is the step clear now?
यस मैम
Okay, so now we can take this b by 2a in the opposite side, so we will get this, right? So if we simplify this, so we will get minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a, right? So that means if we have a typical quadratic equation, we can always directly find the root of the quadratic equation via this formula, right? So this formula will give us the root of the quadratic equation, okay?
This is a fixed format for every question of completing a square
Yes,
method.
yes.
Ma'am, please
It's a
take
fixed
one
formula.
example.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so if I take any example, suppose x square plus some 5x plus 8 equals 0. Okay, so here our a is equals to 1, b is equals to 5, and c is equals to 8, right? So the roots will be minus b, that means minus 5, plus minus root over b square, that means 5 square, that means 25, minus 4a c by 2a, right? That means minus 5 plus minus root over 25 minus 32 by 2, right? So this will be this portion is negative, right? That means this will give something, some complex root, right?
Without going, ma'am, without going long procedure, we use
Yeah, you
the
can directly use the formula.
only.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever you have to do, like whenever you will have a equation, you just have to compare a, b, and c from the general equation, then put the value of a, b, c in the equation. Okay, so it is a direct formula to calculate the root of any equation.
Ma'am,
yeah.
When question ask do the question for using completing the square method, then it is good for use for this formula.
Yeah, this is the completing the square method formula. And the thing is, in the examination, because you have to complete the it will be MSQ or MCQ, so you not need to follow whole procedure, you just have to apply the formula. Okay, just compare ABC and just put them in the formula, then you will get the root. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, anything else, any doubt? So the completing the square method is clear to all of you, right? Like how can I complete the square and calculate the root, right? All the steps are clear, right?
यस मैम
Okay, very good. So here we arrive to 3 different cases. What I said you earlier. That means 2 different real root, no real root, and same real root, right? So this term b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant. So we got our root is, the formula for root is minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a. Now for the term d equals b square minus 4ac, we have three different possibilities, right? It can be equals to 0, it can be greater than 0, it can be less than 0, right? So if it is equals to 0, in that case, we will get x equals minus b by 2a. So this is our root, and for both, we will get this root. That means this equation, the equation ax square plus bx plus c will give a perfect square then. Okay. So we will get a repeated root. Okay. That means if it is equals to 0, then repeated root. If it is greater than 0, that means this will provide two different values, right? For the positive value, we will get a root, that means minus b plus root over d by 2a. This will be one root, and minus b minus root over d by 2a, this will be another root, right? So we will get two different root, right? And if it is negative, then we will get root over something negative. That means iota will be there, right? And if iota is
Hello?
there, then the number
Excuse me,
will
ma'am.
become, yes.
Ma'am, it's greater than and equal than 0.
No.
Different root will come.
No. This is strictly greater than 0. This I just underlined it. Yeah. Okay. Like we have three different possibilities. First is it can be equals to 0. If the discriminant is equals to 0, then we will get x equals to minus b by 2a. That means we are getting a single value, right? So this single value will be basically the root. That means we will get a perfect square then. Okay. If we get a perfect square, that means the root will be same, the repeated root. Okay. So if this case, then we will get basically x plus b by 2a whole square equals to 0. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we will get two repeated root, and our root will be b by 2a. Okay. If the discriminant
Why it was, excuse me, why it is x plus b by 2a the whole square? How it comes the whole square?
Okay, so we took that b square minus 4ac is equals to 0, right? So we can put them in this equation here, right? Here in this equation. So if I get x, if b square minus 4 is equals to 0, then we can get x from here we can directly get this, right? So this is a perfect square with the root b minus b by 2a.
Okay, I understood. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so if it is greater than 0, then for the positive root value, we will get one root, and for the negative root value, we will get another root, right? That means two different root will be there. But if it is negative, if the discriminant is negative, in that case, there will be iota. And if there is a iota, in that case, we will get no real root, right? Right, in that case, we will get no real root. Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No real root case. Can you please explain this?
Yeah, no real root means we will get a complex root. Just for example, if I take this equation, then upon solving, we will get plus minus iota, right? Both the roots are complex in that case, right? There is no real root, but complex root are there. So once again, we know that root means x-intercept, right? And there is no real root means our equation, our graph will not cut the x-axis. Okay? Yeah. So dependent upon the discriminant, we will get the three type of picture.
Negative roots, it does not exist, ma'am.
What?
negative roots it does not exist.
No,
We
not
cannot.
negative root, not negative root.
But
Negative
ma'am,
root
it is
is
less than
something
zero.
different.
Less
If
than
the
zero, it's
discriminant
negative.
is less than 0, in that case, we will find the complex root. So, because we are working on the real line, so we will say that their root doesn't exist. Okay, that means real root doesn't exist. Okay, we will not tell the word real, but in our mind there should be real root doesn't exist. Okay. Okay. Is
What
it
is the difference between real root and root?
okay? So roots mean it can be real or complex. Okay, and because we are working on the real line, so there is no real root means we will say there is no root. Okay, there is no real root. That doesn't mean root doesn't exist. Root exists, but they are complex. So there is no real root. Okay, so we can say it there is no root.
Two
But
types of root is there, real root and complex root. This
yeah,
is a complex root, so
yeah.
no real
If
root is there.
yes, so if the root is not real, that means we will say that root doesn't exist, but it basically means real root doesn't exist. Okay, that means there are complex root. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So as of now, we know that discriminant dependent on the discriminant, we can part the equation is 3. So if the discriminant is 0, we will get 2 repeated root. In that case, we will get this type of picture. Okay. So this type of picture means this is our only root and we will get a U type of shape near the root because the root is of round 2. Okay. And if d is greater than 0, that means we will get 2 real root. That means the equation, the graph of the equation will cut the x-axis at 2 different points. Okay, that means we will get this type of picture or this type of picture, and in both the cases we can see the graph cuts the x-axis at 2 different places, right? Is it fine? Here also we can get 2 different type of picture like that. Okay, and if d is negative, that means no real roots. That means the graph will not cut the x-axis. Okay, that means we will get a picture like this or like that. Okay, so you can see there is no chance for both the graph to cut the x-axis at any point, right? That means there is no x-intercept. That means there is no real root. Okay, is it fine up to now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So, yeah. So it was the thing. And second thing is, it's about solving the roots, and we know roots. So if I have something in general form, our quadratic equation in general form,
Ma'am,
then
hello.
mm-hmm.
Ma'am, when roots is coming, it's touch the x-axis or x-axis, ma'am. No?
Yeah, like if there is root, that means it will touch,
Then it's
either
touch.
it will touch the x-axis or it will cut the x-axis. Okay, if it touches the
Okay.
x-axis, that means repeated roots are there, and if it cuts the x-axis at 2 different places, then different roots are there. Okay, okay, so the number of x-intercept is basically equals to the number of roots. here for the first picture, we can see the number of x-intercept is 1, right? At one point, the x-axis and the curve, the graph, just contacted, right? That means the number of intercept is 1. That means the number of root is 1. Okay. So basically, the number of root is equals to the number of x-intercept. Okay. Okay. So we will count the number of time the curve cuts the x-axis. Okay. This is called the x-intercept. Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so you can match it with picture wise too. That means for the first picture, it touches the x-axis once. So the number of root is 1, sim root, and the number of root is 2 because it cuts the x-axis 2 different times. And in the third picture, the number is root is 0 because the x-intercept is 0, right? So whenever we have a quadratic equation, our motto should to find the root of the quadratic equation. And how can we find the root of the quadratic equation? The first thing is we can complete a square, and we can find the root with completing the square method. But the second thing is we can factorize the equation, right? So factorize means we can rewrite the equation in this form: x minus alpha x minus beta equals to 0. Okay. So this is called a factorization of the quadratic equation. So if once we can factorize the equation, in that case, we can clearly directly find the root. So the roots in that case will be alpha beta, right? Okay. So to find the root, we have one different method called FOIL method. So what does FOIL method say? That means, okay, if suppose we have something in that form, ax plus b, cx plus d equals 0. Okay. Suppose this is our quadratic equation in the factorization form. Okay. So we can then put the bracket. I mean, we can multiply both the terms. So we will get ax, cx, then multiply this with this. So we will get ax into d, then this with this. So we will get b cx, then this with this, plus b d equals to 0, right? Now if we just observe this term, then we can see that we can simplify it. So we will get ac x square, then adx, then bcx, then bd equals 0, right? So if simply observe this equation, then we can see the coefficient of x square and the constant term. If we take the multiplication, then we will get a, b, c, d, right? Again, if I take the coefficient, both the coefficient of x and multiply them, then we will again get a, b, c, d. That means they are equal, right? So this method is basically called FOIL method. That means whenever you will have a quadratic equation in this form, ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, you just have to break the b in b1 plus b2, sum b1 plus b2, so that ac will be equals to b1 b2. Okay. This is the FOIL method. Any doubt?
Take an example for better understanding, ma'am.
Yeah, I will
Yes,
take an
ma'am.
example,
Just
but
understand.
yeah, you got the method, right? Like we will solve by example, but the basic method is like you have to break the middle term, that means the coefficient of x in such a way so that their multiplication will become equals the multiplication of the coefficient of x square and the constant term, right? So for example, if I suppose take some 10x square plus 13x plus 3 equals 0. Okay. Suppose we want to use the FOIL method. That means we have to break this coefficient of x in such a way so that their multiplication will become equals to the multiplication of x, coefficient of x square and the constant term, right? So the first thing is we have to see what is the multiplication of coefficient of x square and constant term. That means what is AC. So our A is, here our A is 10, our B is 13 and C is 3, right? So our AC will become 30, right? Now we have to break our B into B1 plus B2 so that AC will become equals to B1, B2, right? So how can we break the B? Anyone?
Ma'am, what is B1 13x?
10x plus
Yeah.
3x.
Yes, B1 is 13x.
Yeah.
So we can break this 13 in 10 plus 3, right?
Okay.
So this is our B1 and this is our B2, right? So their
Excuse me,
multiplication
ma'am.
becomes same. Yeah.
Ma'am, I am not math background. Please tell me how it's break.
Mm-hmm.
How it's break and comes 10 and 3.
Okay, so breaks means you have to separate in two different constants so that their sum
This is
becomes
easy,
a
ma'am,
number.
but many questions digits are so difficult to break
Mm-hmm.
into two
Okay,
different parts.
so this is what, like, you have to think this about the constant, like when you have to break it in such a way so that their multiplication become with the multiplication of these two. So if you have 13, then you can break it 10 plus 3, right? In that case you will get the multiplication same as their multiplication, the multiplication of the A and
Excuse me, ma'am.
right?
Ma'am, when 10 is not when any question when 10 is not present, x square plus 13x plus 3 is present, how it break?
What, x square
When 10 is not present for this question, ma'am, how it break?
13x plus 3, like that. This is what
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
saying,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So in this case, I guess you will not get any complex, I mean, any real root, right? Because if there is real root, then only you can express the general equation of a quadratic equation from in a factorization form. But in that case, this equation has no real root. We can check it via the Sridhar Acharya or completing the square method. So if we check it, our B is 13, right? So we will get minus 13, or maybe there may be some root. Let us check it. So if there is real root, then we can break it. Okay. So 13 squared minus 4AC 3 by 2. Okay. Okay. In that case, we will get a real root, and then 169, right? Minus 12. So what is the value after simplifying it? Can anyone tell me? 169 minus 12, root over 169 minus
157 root of.
yeah. What is the value of root of 157?
Yes, ma'am. This is
157 is root of 150.
12.52.
Yeah. That means 12.53, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So
12.53
in that
minus
case,
13.47.
so we will get two different root. The first
And
different root
plus
will be minus 1.47, right? By 2. And what will
25 by 53 for positive.
25 by
25.53 by 2.
3 by 2. Okay. So this is the positive and negative root. So we can see that the negative, these roots are like bit like not that simple. So this is the, you can consider it as the boundary of the FOIL method. I mean, if there is some simple root, then you can factorize it. But if the roots are not that simple, I mean, in this form, in that case, sometime maybe it may not come to our mind, right? So in that
I
type.
mean, there
Mhm.
is another formula, right? Instead
Yeah,
of minus
yeah.
this one. So
So we
that
can
I think
use,
that is
Hello,
easier.
ma'am.
yeah.
Ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
minus 25. Minus 25 by 2.
Yeah, right.
There will be two negative root.
Yeah, both the roots are negative, right? In that case. Okay. So that's the thing. I mean, sometimes you may do it with the FOIL method. This may come to your mind, but sometimes the roots are not that simple. In that case, you have to use this method to find the roots. Okay.
Ma'am, there is different method, right? Under same method. That is
Which,
easier.
FOIL method.
Splitting
yeah,
the middle term.
FOIL
yes.
method.
Ma'am, in a कुछ specific type of question will become in a completing square method and a factorization method.
No, I mean, the method doesn't matter at all. You may be asked some like practical questions, something like that. For example, if you have the alpha and beta root of the equation, then we know that if we have the root, then we can form the equation with the root, right? So how will the equation look then? If I simply do that, then the equation will be in this form, right? The
X square
factorization,
plus bx plus.
right? This is, and if we simplify this, then we will get x square minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta, right? That means basically, if you have two different roots, that means, so the quadratic equation is typically x square minus sum of the roots into x plus multiplication of the root. Okay. This is a typical form. Is it fine? So sometimes the question may be like that, if they will be give you like there will be some roots given in the question, and you have to find the equation of the function. Okay. So for example, suppose you have x square plus some maybe 8x plus 2 equals 0. Okay. Or 16. Let us do it with a simple equation. So suppose this is your equation. Okay. And this given that alpha and beta are roots of the equation. Okay. And you have to find the equation having roots alpha square and beta square. So that's the point, right? In that case, you can have the value of alpha and beta, then you can square them, then you have the new roots. Now you can form the new equation, right? So you just try to solve this and let me know what is the answer.
Basically, two repeated root, ma'am.
Yeah, in that case, you have two repeated roots because
That
it's a perfect square, right?
yeah. 4 will be the 4. 16 and 16 there will be the answer.
Yeah. So 16, so the root is 4, right?
Yeah.
Alpha and beta is equals to 4. That means alpha square or beta square will be 16. Now we have to find the equation. So what will be the equation? In this form, you can find the equation x square minus sum of roots plus multiplication of roots.
x square minus
X
8x
square
plus
minus 8
16x
plus
square.
16. X square not 16.
X square minus
8x.
how?
8x minus
How
Some,
8x? Why 8x?
oh, no. 32.
Right. 16 plus 16,
32.
right? Sum of the
32.
roots.
Yeah.
Plus
Plus
16
16
into,
into 16.
right?
Yeah.
So we will get x square minus
32.
32x plus
60.
384 or something else maybe. What is 16 into 16?
256.
Yeah. 256 equals 0.
256.
Okay. So this is the equation. This is the final equation. That means our required equation, right? So if you have the roots given, from the roots you can form the equation. Also, if you have the equation, from the equation you can compute the root. So to compute the root, you can choose the FOIL method if the roots are simple, and if the factorization is coming to your mind, then you can choose the FOIL method. Otherwise, you can choose the completing the square method. Okay, so in that case you have to directly put the formula and you can find the root. Okay, yeah, any doubt?
I did not
There
understand this
is
question,
one
ma'am,
more
please.
method, right?
Which one?
Splitting the middle term.
Yeah, this is
Then x minus
yeah.
c and
this
plus
is
minus
this is
5.
this is same as the FOIL method actually. I mean, for the same example, we had 10x squared plus 13x plus 3 equals 0, right? So we can split the middle term. So this
13
is called
plus
middle
3.
term factor. We can also write it as 10x plus 3x, right? Then 3 is there. Then we can take the 10
Then
as
we take
common,
common.
10x, right? So we will get x
10x,
plus
x plus 10, and
x
there
plus
we
1.
can take 3 common.
Then we can take 3 as common, so we will get x plus 1, right? Then
Yes.
again we can take x
10x
plus 1
plus
as
3,
common,
x plus 1.
right? 10x plus 3, right?
Now we can find the value.
Now we have
Minus 1.
this 2 factor
X is
equals
equal to
to 0.
minus
That
1.
means either
X equal to minus 1 and minus 3 by 10.
yeah, minus 1
Minus
or
3 by 10.
this factor 10x plus 3 will be equals to 0. That means x will be equals to minus 3 by 10, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
So this is basically your middle term factor or FOIL method. Yeah.
This is much easier, right?
Yeah. So this is the easier, but we have some boundaries for this method. Like if you can separate the middle term, then it is fine. But sometimes the root may be something difficult, right? It may not come to your
Then
mind.
we can use FOIL method.
No, not FOIL method. The completing the square method. X square x equals to minus b plus minus root over b square
4ac by 2.
by 2. This one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So these two method you have to always use to find the root. I guess someone was asking something.
Ma'am, I did not get the above question, ma'am. How it's came?
This
Please
one?
go the above question.
This one?
Yeah.
What is your doubt?
Ma'am, how 16 plus 16 will become?
16 plus 16.
Yes.
Okay. So as I tell you about the formula. So the formula is if you have the roots given, 2 roots given, then the equation is in the format x square minus sum of the root into x plus multiplication of the root. Okay. So we have both the root as 16, right? So alpha and beta are 4. So alpha square and beta square
Alpha and beta are equal, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
So alpha square and beta square will also be equal, right? 16. Right?
Yes.
In that case,
Yes, ma'am.
we will get the sum of the root will be 16 plus 16 and multiplication of the root will be 16 into 16. Right?
What formula you tell?
This one, the boxed one. X square minus sum of roots into x plus multiplication of roots.
Ma'am, how we know the root is 16 and root is same?
Okay,
this
so
example.
the question is like you have the equation x square plus 8x plus 16 equals to 0 and alpha beta is root of the equation. So first you have to calculate root of the equation. That means the value of alpha beta, right? So
Yes.
first you have the equation given. So you can compute the root from this equation, which is 4, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Using FOIL method.
Using FOIL method you can do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
ma'am.
right. Then we have that we have to find the equation for which we have the root alpha square beta square, right? So once we have the value of alpha and beta, we can make their square. So we have the value of alpha square and beta square. Now we have root of the equation, which is 16 comma 16. Now we can use the box formula, this formula, to calculate the equation, right? So once we have the root, we can directly put them in the formula and we can calculate the equation. Is it fine?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any
Okay,
other?
ma'am.
Do you have any doubt?
Ma'am, this formula used to finding the equation of a given root.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
Okay.
Hmm.
I understand.
Yeah. So in your, I guess that was the part of your week 3. So in week 3, basically we covered the quadratic equation. So quadratic equation typically look like a parabola. Sometime it may be a parabola in the upward direction, sometime downward direction. We have seen when it will be upward, when it will be downward, and we can directly compute the minima or maxima for a quadratic equation with the vertex, right? Then we have seen that from a quadratic equation we can divide it into 3 different parts dependent on the discriminant or the type of roots, right? So there can be 3 type of roots. So depending on them, we will get 3 different type of pictures of the parabola. And from an equation, we can compute the roots. Also from the roots, we can compute the equation, right? So these are the parts of your week 3 content. Now, if you have any doubt, conceptual doubt, then you can ask me, I will cover.
Ma'am, there will be another concept, finding slope.
Okay, yeah. So another thing we have, finding slope. So we know that if we have the parabola ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 or equals f of x, then slope of the parabola, the equation of slope is what? 2ax plus
2ax
b,
plus b.
right? So typically we know that for any function, f of x, the slope of the function at the point x is f dash x, right? That means the derivative of the function. Okay, so because for the parabola we have the function of ax squared plus bx plus c, so we can derivative the function, so we will get the same thing, right? 2ax plus b. So this is a slope. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Any other thing do you have?
Slope of any quadratic function, it is a derivative, is also a derivative of a quadratic function.
Again, can you
Ma'am,
say?
slope of any quadratic function is also a derivative of this function.
Yeah, yes. Slope of the quadratic function is nothing but derivative of the function at that point.
Ma'am, any quadratic function.
Yeah, any quadratic function. Any quadratic function. Actually, for any function, not only quadratic, for any function, the slope is the derivative of the function at that point. Okay. If you have any function, I mean any quadratic or cubic or any n degree polynomial, then the slope is basically nothing but the derivative of the function at that point. And for any quadratic function, the derivative is the slope. Okay.
Ma'am, in a linear function, mx plus c is a derivative of a linear function, or derivative of mx plus c.
Okay, mx, okay,
Then
see, if we
this is
have a linear function, that means the function will be in that form, right? Mx plus c, right? Y equals to mx plus c, or f of x equals to mx plus c. This is the linear function, right?
Yes, ma'am.
In that case also, we know that m is our slope, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you compute the derivative, f dash x will be m. This is the slope, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Derivative is the slope for any function f. Okay. That means if you have any function and if you ask to calculate the slope of the function at any point, you just have to calculate the derivative of the function at that point. Okay. Okay. Any other doubts?
Ma'am, can you tell me derivation of slope? Because if we differentiate, it will come directly, but in 3.5 lecture, professor also drive in lengthy way. Can you explain this way?
Can you repeat? I didn't get your question.
I'm just asking derivation of slope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you
So
explain
the thing is, what do we mean by a slope? Like if you have any equation, so slope means we can compute the slope at some point of the equation, right? So if this point means we can draw a tangent at that point. Once we draw the tangent, this is a line, right? Then we can take the angle, which is the angle between the tangent line and the x-axis, right? So tangent line means at some point, if you want to calculate the slope, so tangent line means it's a line, that line will touch the curve at that point. Okay. Tangent line will touch the curve at that point. Okay. And the tangent line will make an angle theta with the x-axis. Okay. And slope is defined by m equals tan theta. This is our slope. Okay. And the value of slope is nothing but f inverse x, if the point is x comma x. Okay. This is nothing but equals to m. Okay. Anything do you want to ask?
hello, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
What is sensitivity?
Sensitivity, okay, so it was something about slope. I don't remember exactly. Okay, so sensitivity, I don't remember exactly. Maybe in the next session, you can ask about sensitivity. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Anything other than that?
How many sessions will be came after this session for week 3
So
regarding?
tomorrow you have the Solvita session. Then day after tomorrow you have the Hindi session. Then after that you have the open session. 3 instructor sessions will be there.
Ma'am, in a graded assignment,
Mm-hmm.
practical application type of question will be came, but I didn't understand how it's solved, ma'am.
Like can you give?
Numerical type of question will not there.
Okay, so if there any practical question, that means you have to analyze the graph, right? So you can draw the graph and you can analyze the graph maybe. Try to like
What
use
is the
your
good approach to doing
concept.
this question, ma'am?
Like which, if you can give some example of question, then I can tell you about the approach. Can you give me some example? So it's about your graded assignment week 3. Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, I send it.
Okay.
Please.
Is it about your graded assignment week 3? I can't see anything. Have you
Wait, ma'am.
sent it?
Wait, ma'am, I send it.
Okay.
Ma'am, professor also finds slope like that. Slope equals to f of x naught plus h minus f of x naught or minus h upon x naught plus h minus x naught minus h. So in this way, how we can find slope? Can you
What?
explain?
Basically, the point x naught, y naught point slope find.
Can you repeat what did you just say? Just
F of x naught plus h
hmm.
minus
Hmm.
f of x naught minus h upon
Hmm.
x naught plus h
X naught plus h.
minus x naught minus h. Bracket in bracket. This is in bracket.
This, right?
Right,
So
ma'am.
yeah. So the thing is, slope you can see it in that like rate of change of the function. Okay, we can write it also in this way. So if x naught plus h.
And is this similar to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1?
Yeah, this is basically same. This is your y2, this is your y1, this is your x2, this is your x1. Okay, so we know that if we have a line, then we can calculate the slope of the line with this formula, right? And if you have any curve, then you can draw the tangent line of the curve at that point, right? Then we just calculate the tangent line, the slope of the tangent line, because the tangent line, like if suppose this is the point, at that point we have drawn the tangent line t, right? So near the point, the line and the curve is basically same, is almost same, right? We can sometimes we call the tangent as linear approximation of the curve, right? So we are linearly approximating the curve at some point, like near the neighborhood of some point. Then we can calculate the slope of the tangent line, and it will be the slope of the curve. Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am. And also there are equations of line also given y equals to mx plus b. Can you put these equations in this formula?
Y equals to
Mx plus b.
mx plus b. So here your m is the slope, right? And this is nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So slope is basically nothing but the rate of change of the curve, right? So when you have a curve, suppose this, and suppose at the point A, we want to find the slope. Okay, so this is the point A. Okay, and this is your f of A. Okay, so we can take a variable h, then a plus h will be something here, then the value of this will be, this is the value of f of a plus h. Okay, then we can move the point towards A. Like when H will be tending to 0 from the positive side, then A plus H will be tending to A from the positive side, right? That means we are taking this point and eventually the point is tending towards the point A, right? Is it clear? So whenever the point A plus H will be tending towards the point A, the functional value of the point A plus H will be tending towards the point functional value of A, f of A, right? So
Yes.
when A plus H will be there, then the value will be here. Again, A plus H is there, means the functional value is there. So eventually, if I tend A plus H towards A, then f of A plus H will be tending towards f of A, right? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in
Ma'am,
that
I
case,
have I have a question from activity.
okay. Just let us okay. So the thing is, see, the tangent line is we can equate, like we can calculate the equation of the tangent line, which is nothing but joining the line joining these 2 points, f of A and f of A plus H. Okay. So when H is tending to 0, the point will be very near to the point f of A. Okay. Then the tangent line will be a line which thus touches the graph at the point f of A. Okay. So at that point, when we are finding the slope of the line, because the tangent line is called the linear approximation of the curve, that means near the point, the tangent line and the curve is almost same, not exactly same, but almost same. Okay. So when we are finding the slope of the curve near that point, that means we are finding the slope of the tangent line. Okay. And we know that we can find the slope of the tangent line using this formula, right? And the tangent line equation is nothing but the line which passes through these 2 points, FA and FA plus H, right? So if we can take this as y1 and y2 and A and A plus H as x1 and x2, then we can use the formula, and this is nothing but the slope of the tangent line, hence it is the slope of the curve. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's clear for all of you, right? If not, you can ask.
Ma'am, if I talk about the left hand side, A minus H is also approaching to G plus 0. 0 plus.
Yeah. So A minus H
Both
also
are approaching to 0
same.
plus.
Yeah. So
Right
if
and left.
yeah, so A minus H, if we approach this to A, then the functional value of A minus H, that means f of A minus H, this will also be approaching towards f of A, right? Then the case is basically same, right? Again, we can take this 2 point A minus H and A plus H as our y1 and y2 and the corresponding x1 and x2. Then we can again do the same thing. So these are basically nothing but the same thing, right? Is it clear? Can you match with the definition? Can you match it with the definition? Is it relatable?
Yes, ma'am. It is relative.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Any other doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
3.7. Activity.
Activity.
Okay.
Question number 3 and 4.
Where is my Chrome? So, if you have any conceptual doubt, then you can ask the conceptual doubt first, because for activity, you can get the open session and solve with session 2. Okay. So this session is basically for conceptual things. I'm taking this
Okay, ma'am.
question, but this is the last. Okay. If you have conceptual
Okay,
doubt,
okay.
anything you can ask. Yeah. So which one?
3 and 4.
Activity 3.3, 3 and 4, right?
3.7.
Okay, 3.7. This one. This two.
Yes.
Okay. So choose the set of correct option regarding quadratic functions. So you have two quadratic function. P has, okay, so here, okay, so you have to calculate the roots of P and Q. That's the thing. So for P, I guess,
B plus minus 4 root a 4 AC
yeah, for
from that
P
formula.
we can use, yeah. Also for P, clearly we can use the FOIL method, right? X squared minus 5x minus 2x plus 10. Right?
Ma'am, we
That
can
might
also use the Chare method.
Yes.
yeah, we
5x
can
plus
also
2x
use
plus
that
10.
method. So
That
now
only I did.
just common, then you will get 5 and 2 as root, right?
Yes.
And here also you can do same 5 and 2, so minus 5 and minus 2
Yes,
will be
ma'am.
the root, right?
We are getting 5 into root, but how can we determine from P of x or Q of x?
So P of x and Q of x is given, na?
Yes, ma'am.
You just have to calculate the
And
Ma'am, activity 3.7, second sum, ma'am.
this one.
Yes.
Okay. So you have the picture given. What is the question? Choose the correct option. A. Okay. So we have the picture of the parabola in the upward direction, right?
Yes.
But
A
here,
greater.
but here we can see that if I just break the equation and form, like you can express it in the general form after breaking the equation, right? So we will get minus a x square, right?
And can you write?
So a we have, then we can break this. So we will have minus x squared plus 2x,
Okay.
sorry, minus 2x plus bx plus 2b, right? Then in
Okay.
we will get minus ax squared, then minus 2 minus bx plus 2b. This is the equation, right?
Okay.
And this parabola is in the upward direction, means coefficient of x square should be positive. That means minus a should be positive. That means a should be negative, right?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Got it.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Sorry,
how
I
did you
didn't
get?
understand that one. Can you please repeat the explanation of question number 2?
Okay, so what you have to do, you just have to break the equation. Okay, just multiply the factors and break the equation, then you will get the coefficient of x square will be minus a. Okay, and in the
We have to
picture,
multiply a from x plus 2b minus x.
yes, and the equation, I mean the graph of the parabola, you can see the parabola is in the upward direction. That means the coefficient of x square should be positive, right? And the coefficient of x square is minus a. That means minus a should be positive. That means a should be negative, right?
Ma'am, where is minus a?
Okay, I got it now.
Got
Yes,
it?
ma'am. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Ma'am, where is the minus a you are talking about?
Ma'am, send the question, ma'am. How to approach this question?
Minus a means the coefficient of x square. Okay, so you send it the question in the chat box or what?
Yes, ma'am. In a chat box, ma'am.
Activity 3.8, third sum, ma'am.
Okay, see, in this session we are not going to cover activity. It's
Okay.
better you just solve all the activity and practice assignment, and you just collect all your doubts. Then we will pick all the doubts in the open session. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Today, basically, I want to focus on the concept. Like, if you have any conceptual doubt, I will cover the conceptual doubts today.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So, anything regarding the concept do you have to ask?
Ma'am,
No, ma'am, we have questions.
Okay.
previously written notes by you will be available somewhere.
Yeah,
Will you
sure.
provide?
Sure. I will share the notes. Okay.
Okay,
If you
thank
don't
you.
have any anything other than that?
Please pin the calendar. No, pin this calendar on the slides.
Okay,
PDF.
okay. I will share it in the calendar, but also I'm sharing it with you in the chat box. Just give me some time, okay? Wait for some time. I'm sharing it in the calendar, in the chat box. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a doubt in the assignment Week-2.
Wait. Yeah, whatever doubt you have, you just take a photo or screenshot and share it in the chat box.
Okay, ma'am. I have already shared one question.
Okay. Just wait for 2 minutes and let me check it. Okay, can you check? I have shared the class notes in the chat box. You get it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the question. If P and Q are the lanes of the perpendicular from the origin to the line this and this respectively, okay. Which of the following is hold? P and Q length of the perpendicular. Okay, so the hint is, I will give you the hint, okay?
Okay,
So
ma'am.
here you have lines and the coefficient of xy are cos theta and sin theta. That means you have to take a, b, c as cos theta, sin theta, and the k cos 2 theta. This, okay? So p and q are the lengths of the perpendicular from the origin. So that means you have to find the distance from origin to the line, okay? So we can find the value of P and Q, right? We know that how to find the distance of a point from a line, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You have to use that formula and you have to find the value of P and Q. Then you just use the given trigonometric formula. There is a given trigonometric formula in the hint. Use the formula and then you can conclude. Okay. So this is the hint. You just try using the hint. Okay. Yeah. Second is suppose P1 and P2 are points in the Cartesian system with P1 and P2 located in this. Also let this line passing through this and this. Okay. If x-intercept of the line is 1 and y-intercept of the line L is 2. Okay. Okay. So basically you have P1, P2 given, right? And we know L1 is passing through P1, 3. That means L1 is passing through 3, minus 2. And x-intercept of the line L1 is 1. That means also L1 is passing through the point 1, 0, right? So one line L1 is passing through the point 1, 0 and 3, -2. So you can calculate the slope of L1, right?
Yes.
Similarly, you can calculate the slope of L2, right?
L2.
Y-intercept is given and P2 is given.
Yes.
So once you know the slope of both the line, then you can calculate the angle. So angle will be M1 minus M2 by 1 plus M1 M2.
M1.
M1 minus M2 by 1 plus M1 M2.
1
Like
plus
the maximum.
M1 into M1 into M2.
Yeah, M1 into M2. Yes.
Yeah.
Using the slope and angle formula, right? We use this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the hint. You just try to solve using this hint and you can do it. Okay. So next question is ABCD be a parallelogram with angles. What exists? Which of the following denotes the coordinate of the fourth vertex? Okay. So for this also, you just draw the picture of the parallelogram in the Cartesian coordinate. Okay. Then check the vertex. So we know that whenever we have a parallel, I mean perpendicular, sorry, the vertical line or horizontal line, then what can we do with the x-axis and y-axis? You just try to draw all these points in your Cartesian coordinate system, then try to match whether you can draw a parallelogram with these 4 points or not. Okay.
Ma'am, I don't understand. Can you solve this question?
Okay, the thing is, for parallelogram, you have to have some properties of the parallelogram, right? Like the length of the two sides, right? So you have to use the properties. Okay.
Excuse
Use the
me,
properties. Yeah.
ma'am. I'm download the PDF, but it's not open, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Why? Is it same for all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am, it's opening.
Yeah, it should be like it. There should not be any problem. I mean, it should open. If
Oh, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's opening.
yeah, so but I guess you are facing some problem with it. Like it should open. If you're not finding someone who can open the file, you can share it in your common WhatsApp group. Okay. Okay, so for this problem also, what I suggest, you just like take the formulas, not exactly formulas, that means the rules of a parallelogram, and then try to find the length of the sides and try to compare this with the lengths. So which is satisfying the rule for the parallelogram, you have to pick the answer. Okay, so this that I am giving you hint because I want you to solve the problem. If still you are facing doubt, then in the next session we can solve.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now we start the graph between Q on the y-axis, okay, and root over delta H on the x-axis. So we have a point Q on the y-axis and root over delta H. This is another point on the x-axis, right? And claim
Ma'am,
that
this question, first half of the question, I have sent the last one picture.
okay. Okay. So you have that the point Q is on the y-axis and the point root over delta H is on the x-axis. That means basically you have the x-intercept and y-intercept given. That means you have 2 points, right? So once you have the 2 points, you can calculate the slope using y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, right?
Yes.
Similarly, for the second case also, you have the x-axis and y-axis, the x-intercept and y-intercept given. So you can again calculate the slope, then match it whether it is coming or not. Okay. You just try to solve this problem using this thing. If still you are facing any problem, then you can ask it. Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, 3.7, that question I didn't understand. Someone
Which question?
asking that one is QX and PX. How did we determine for marking, we have to mark
3 points.
QX or PF? PX 5,
PX and
5 and 2.
QX.
Yes, ma'am. In
So
this question.
you just apply FOIL method, break 7 to 5 and 2.
Yes, ma'am, we got the root 5 and 2. But in option there is QX and PX, right?
Yeah, so
So
PX has the
which we
root
have to
5 and 2, right?
Hmm.
And QX has the root -5 and -2. So option 2 and option 4 is correct.
Okay. And ma'am, question number 9. Sorry, 4.
Okay, identify the incorrect option for the
Same.
quadratic equation.
Same,
Again, you
ma'am.
have to calculate the root. So what is the root?
Root 6 and 9.
So both the roots are not equal, right?
What do you mean by equal root?
That means they are different. They're different. 6 and 9.
Both the root are equal.
Yeah. So there are no
Both.
roots. This is the incorrect option, right? And both the roots are equal. This is also incorrect because you are finding 9 and 6 at the root, and 9 and 6 are not equal, right? So both the roots
9
are
and
not
3
equal.
we are getting. 9 and 6, yes.
9 and 6 is the root. So they are not equal. So the second option is incorrect, right? Because they have said that both the root are equal. So the second option is
Yes.
incorrect. And there are no roots. This is also incorrect, right? Because there are roots.
There are.
Okay.
And
PDF is
there are
not
no
open,
root.
ma'am.
Can you give an example?
X squared plus 1 equals to 0.
Square plus 1 equals 0. Okay.
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 Yeah. Anything else? No? If not, we can end. If yes, you
Ma'am,
can ask.
PDF is not opened, ma'am. I am trying more and more time, but it can't be opened.
Okay. Whoever can open the PDF, can you share it again in the chat box?
Can't able to
Which
open
PDF, ma'am?
PDF.
The PDF I shared, the note.
It's
Okay.
not opening.
I'm sharing it
Yes,
again.
ma'am. It's not open, ma'am. I am trying to more and more time.
It's opening, downloading, then
Ma'am, it's opening, but I'm not able to download it.
no, it's correct, I think. It's not getting open in my.
Send it, ma'am.
Okay. Let me check. Wait.
This is Adobe, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's not opening. Third party app. Must be downloaded for opening. You can share in simple PDF format.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just hold for some time. I'm changing the format and sharing it with you.
Okay, ma'am.
Can you check it now?
Yes, ma'am. Now it get open.
Right? So is it fine for all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Can you
Yes,
able to
ma'am.
open?
Okay,
It
so
open.
all of you can open it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Then if you have anything, ask. Otherwise, we can end. If you don't have anything, you can leave.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Night.
Yeah. Okay, then good night, everyone. We are ending this session then. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.